introductions.
Next.
We are the brand builders. We work globally, helping athletes to build their brand and activate it for the opportunities that are right for them. We work all over the globe, and our mission really is to elevate athletes in and beyond sport. Our passion is making sure that athletes feel like they have the opportunities to activate their brand and benefit from it in the ways that are uniquely right for them. That is our passion. It is our mission. And I am so excited to be here with you all today to unpack it. I think most of you have already seen us or heard of us before, and that's why you're here. So I won't go too deeply into the introductions part. But like I said before, I am Charlotte. I work in this education space with the brand builders. I've been with the brand builders for 6 years as of this year. It doesn't feel like it. And we deliver workshops and mentoring and workshops and webinars, helping athletes to understand what their brand is and how they can bring it to life and put it into action. So today we're unpacking what brand looks like for the 99% of athletes and how they can benefit from it. But let's start with the current marketing landscape, which is part of where athlete brand fits in. So marketing looks a little different in 2023. Once upon a time, it was all about the schlick and the shiny. You think of glamour campaigns and glossy magazine spreads, A-list celebs selling luxury dreams. And while luxury is always going to be in style, these days, relatability is rewarded a little bit better. Relatability is in fashion. It's why you see regular people in ad campaigns. It's why niche influencers are able to build careers creating content, and why more and more athletes of all types are stepping up to the main stage and leveraging their brand. But what led to this change? According to a Nielsen study, 92% of consumers trust recommendations from real people above all other forms of advertising. So while brands have more channels than ever to create spookily targeted advertising campaigns, because I know I'm not the only person receiving Facebook ads after just thinking about a product or a topic, brands are having to think about how they humanize their brand because this new landscape is crowded. It's noisy. In the era of the endless doom scroll, we're all just a tad overwhelmed at the sheer amount of information at the tips of our fingers. So brands have to cut through the noise by getting creative and finding authentic and real people to represent their brand and tell their story. Another change that's of course led to a major shakeup is social media and the internet boom. We all have a platform and an accessible vehicle to build an audience if we choose to play. It's taken out the middlemen. You don't need an agent or the media to provide you with an audience. So as a result, you have more and more regular people growing big followings. You have teenagers filming beauty tutorials in their childhood bedroom with millions of followers. And these are just regular boys and girls. You have mums and dads showing cooking hacks and cleaning tips and racking up millions of views. These are normal topics. This is everyday life, and yet we're fascinated by it. And the beauty of this is that it's easier to hear from more people and a more diverse group of people. There's more opportunities for people with unique stories, but regular lives to share their worldview. And it's created a hunger for normality. We've rediscovered the beauty of normal, and we want to see more of it. So for both brands and athletes, there's an opportunity ahead, and it lies in embracing normal. It's not about trying to be slick and shiny. It's about saying, hey, I have a story that others might relate to as well. So niche is in, normal is chic, relatability is the new it girl. But extraordinary will always be in style. We will always be drawn to extraordinary people. And this is where athletes get the best of both worlds. They are extraordinary and relatable. Because outside of athlete life, they live pretty regular lives, but they also stand on the world stage and represent their country. They have fans all over the world. They sacrifice to reach their goals. They are regular people doing incredible things. Which brings me to the question, who exactly are this 99% that we're talking about? We know that this marketing landscape has changed. We know that the 99% have opportunities within this landscape, but who are they? We all know who the 1% are. They're the Serena Williams and the LeBron James. They're athletes on $1 million sponsorship contracts. They're celebrity athletes, the Beyoncés of the athlete world, as I affectionately call them. But the 99% are just as cool and just as talented as the Beyoncés, but their journey looks a little different. Their stories are more diverse and interesting and unique and relatable. The 99% work a day job. They might be your local barista or your child's school librarian. They're athletes of all ages and abilities. They're mums and dads, adventure athletes. Their ability to benefit from their brand isn't defined by their medal wins. If they have medals, awesome. Of course, that's an incredible achievement, but it doesn't massively influence their brand activities. The 99% can be gold medal winners. They can also be athletes who have never been to an Olympics, Paralympics, or a World Championships. The 99% have niche interests and passions. They love Lego building, painting, baking on weekends. They read 100 fiction books a year and can recommend you any book from any genre. They're passionate about the environment, about mental health, people, balance, creating impact. They're inspiring because of their athletic achievements and because they juggle real life on top of it. They're approachable. If we saw them in the supermarket, we would feel comfortable going up to them and saying hi, maybe asking them a question. I don't know about you, I wouldn't feel comfortable going up to Beyonce. But we can connect with the 99% because we can relate to them. And we're inspired by them all at the same time. They are extraordinary because they lead big, amazing, incredible lives with interesting stories. And they also go home and they watch TV and they do their grocery shopping and study and work like everyone else. We see ourselves in the 99%. And we also see something to aspire to because they strive towards a different level of achievement and sacrifice. It's athletes like Damon Jenke. He's a wheelchair basketballer and he's now competing in the world of marathon racing. He's a 2-time cancer survivor and an all-round incredible person. I mentored Damon personally a few years ago, and in his mentoring sessions, what we quickly discovered is that he has a real passion for mental health because of his own personal story with mental health and a breakdown that he had in 2017, which he's very open about sharing on social media and with the world. So his passion is breaking down the stigma about mental health. You've probably never heard of Damon, and yet he's out there in the world getting big impact from his brand. He's doing incredible things. And what we did in his mentoring sessions was we looked at his passion and how we could connect it to the opportunities that he is most interested in. So he wanted to be a public speaker. He wanted to get better at social media. He wanted to become a sponsored athlete. And he also really wanted to spread this message around pushing away the stigma of mental health. Now, the way that he's done that is he's connected those brand activations, the public speaking, the sponsorship, spreading the message. He's connected all of that and his social media. He's connected it to that passion for mental health. So he is actively communicating his passion for mental health through his brand activity. So he's got very consistent communications. You go and look him up online. If you search him on Google, everything that you'll find is about his story with mental health. So he's a charity ambassador. He's been an ambassador for Beyond Blue and Livin and a couple other charities. He's been in campaigns for them. He's been out in the community representing them. He's doing a challenge at some point this year where he'll be pushing his wheelchair from the Gold Coast to Mackay, which is a very long distance. I think it's about 1,000 kilometers. It will take him several weeks. And he's doing that to raise funds and awareness for Livin, his favorite mental health charity. You can even see it right here in this photo. He's wearing their shirt right there. He wears a piece of their merch every single day. He even has it tattooed on him. So this is something he's really passionate about. It's not just about growing his brand. It's also about this message that he wants to be spreading. So he's working with charities. That's one way he's out there building his brand, communicating his brand. He's also sharing the message on social media. He's very active on Instagram, and he's gone viral on LinkedIn several times. He found the right platform for him, I think, in LinkedIn. He's out there telling his story there, and it's very inspiring, and it's gone viral a couple of times. And he's a sponsored athlete. So he's sponsored by a grocery store, and he's sponsored by a couple other brands, but he's sponsored by a local fruit and grocer. And so he gets his fruit and vegetables covered for the week, essentially, which is a great thing for an athlete. That's a huge expense covered. And the reason that he chose them as a sponsor is because he believes in healthy body, healthy mind. So it directly relates to that message of mental health, because it's about the overall picture around well-being. And he's also become a paid public speaker. So he's out there doing talks with corporates and keynotes and all sorts of speaking opportunities where he's out there telling his story and getting paid for it. So while you might not have heard of Damon before, although if you've attended one of our webinars, you might, but you probably haven't come across him on your own. He is benefiting from his brand in incredible ways because he's been able to connect who he is to the opportunities that will offer him the most value. And he's doing it in his own way. He's sharing his authentic story, and people are drawn to it because he's a real person doing incredible things. I want to make one thing really clear. Brand for the 99% is not about doing what the 1% do on a smaller scale. The 99% are a unique group. They have unique challenges and they have unique opportunities. So for athletes to succeed in this brand space, they need to approach it in their own way. Firstly, we need to address where the 99% start the journey, the concerns and thoughts that are top of mind for them. Not all of them want to be commercial superstars or social media icons. A lot of them want to create impact, prepare for life after sport by gaining transferable skills and building their network through their brand activities. They want to help people like Damon. A lot of this is his personal passion. He really wants to break down this stigma around mental health because it had a big effect on his life, and he doesn't want other people to suffer in the same way that he did. So he's out there in the community, on social media, with his sponsors, with the charities, talking about this so that he can help people. This is something he is genuinely passionate about. Because while all athletes have a brand and they all have opportunities ahead of them, it's up to them whether or not they play in this space and elevate their journey. And they need the right support to get there. And it starts with understanding where they begin the journey, what concerns and thoughts are top of mind. And these are typically the top three. They don't want to sell out. They want to be remembered for being authentic. And the assumption can be that if they have a brand and they're out there building their brand, they have to compromise their values. They have to do things differently. They have to become some fake or stylized version of themselves. They have to become like the 1%. They have to copy another athlete that's out there. And they don't want to do that. Athletes value authenticity more than I think any other group out there. Athletes are not commodities. They're real people, and they want to be remembered that way. So it's not only a priority, it's a non-negotiable when they start this brand business. They have to understand that they're doing this in a way that is authentic to them. The other thing we have to begin with is confidence. If they don't have confidence in the value of their brand, if they don't have confidence that they don't have to be someone else, that they can take who they are as they are and then communicate that with purpose, they can stop right at the beginning of this journey. So they have to start with that confidence building of understanding who I am and why it's so valuable, that they don't have to be someone else. That being able to go out in the community and work with charities or work with sponsors on a more community-based level, or share social media messages that are a little different to what you're currently seeing on social media, that they can do it in their own way. That confidence bit is really, really crucial right at the beginning. And lastly, it has to be sustainable. It has to fit into athlete life, because they are juggling a million different things. That's the reality. Okay, they're normal people and they're doing incredible things, but they're busy, exhausted people. They live big, big lives. So brand cannot distract. It must add value. It would be very difficult for an athlete to go out and get 10 sponsors and manage 10 sponsorship relationships. That's a lot of work. It's also a lot of different sponsors to be tying yourself to. So for the 99%, what's more likely is they'll get a smaller amount of sponsors, get more value from these sponsors, and try and create more sustainable relationships with them. So they're not seeking new sponsors after every 12-month contract. They're creating sustainable long-term relationships. They probably can't post on social media every single day. And even if the algorithm wants them to, it's just not realistic for the majority of athletes. They've got too much going on to be posting on social media every single day. So it needs to fit into real life. They need to be able to prepare and feel like they are able to do this on a level that's right for them. They don't need to post on social media every single day. Once a week, once a month, whatever it is, as long as they're being consistent and they're out there actively communicating their brand, that's the main thing. That's what's really going to help them. So we can't try and transform athletes into brand workhorses, is I guess what I'm trying to say. They have to be able to do this in a way that fits into all of their other commitments and responsibilities. Let's look at the how-tos. So for athletes wanting to tap into the power of brand, it's about understanding that their value is their uniqueness. It's about identifying who they are, what they stand for, and what makes them interesting and unique. I mean, this is what it looks like in action. Of course, there's more to it than this. If we did a program with athletes, of course, we walk them through more than just this, but this is at the basics level, at the foundational level. It's about identifying what their niche is, what their story is, what their brand is, what is it that makes them, that makes them who they are. For Damon Jenke, he identified his passion for mental health and helping people through talking about his own personal experience. So that's part of his brand, is his mental health story. Of course, there's other parts of his brand, but that's the one he's really actively out there communicating. Then they need to look at where they want their brand to take them. What do they want to do with their brand? What are the opportunities that excite them the most? For Damon, it was public speaking, it was sponsorship, and social media and charity activations. Those were the things that excited him, fit his skill set. He's a good speaker, he's good at sharing his story, and would help him to most effectively share that message, because it was also very, very, very purposeful for him. So he identified what is it that's going to help him enjoy this brand journey. Then athletes need to look at where are the opportunities to communicate and leverage their brand, and how do we connect those dots? So how do I take my brand, who I am, my niche, my story, and how do I connect it to these opportunities that I'm most interested in? So for Damon, this was about looking at how he could connect the mental health passion to public speaking and sponsorship and social media. He said, okay, I'm passionate about mental health. I can talk about my own personal story in the speeches that I do. I'm passionate about mental health. I can go and look for sponsors that relate to that, like my grocery store sponsor, because I believe healthy body, healthy mind. I'm passionate about mental health. I want to spread this message. I'm going to go and work for charities. I'm going to be a public facing ambassador for them and share my story so they can create impact and I can create impact together. So it's about telling the stories and connecting dots. And it's also about doing it in a way that is right for the athlete. So Damon didn't do all of this overnight. This has been about a 3-year journey for him. He started with social media and sharing it there. Then he worked with charities. Then he was getting sponsored and doing the public speaking has really kicked off this year. So he's taken it step by step. He didn't sit down and say, I have this big plan and I need to achieve it all in 6 months. He knew he has a big vision, but he took it step by step. We think big, but we start with smaller actions. So it doesn't have to all happen overnight. Like I said before, it's about doing it in a way that is sustainable and doesn't distract from their other commitments and responsibilities. And there are a ton of opportunities on the table for athletes. Damon is just one example. Every athlete's journey looks a little different, and the real trick is being able to spot those connections. You might have an athlete that loves writing and travel. Maybe they could start a travel blog or write for a local magazine. If they've got a passion for fashion, they could start a TikTok, and they're also hoping to work in this digital marketing space. That's going to help them in their life after sport. It doesn't always have to be super strategic. It can be them just going out into the community, talking with people, inspiring the people around them. It doesn't have to be this slick commercial version of brand. It's really about authenticity and them understanding what impact they want to create and how they want to be remembered, and then connecting those two things. Because there are just so many opportunities out there, and they need to pick the ones that are right for them. These that I have on the screen, they're just some of them. There are others out there. These are probably the most popular. But for some athletes, it's about inspiring the people around them. It's about preparing for life after sport. The thought that I'll leave you with before we wrap up, and if you've got any questions, you can ask me them in the chat, of course, or turn your camera on. The thought I want to leave you with is that for athletes to benefit from being part of the 99%, they need to embrace being the 99% and treat it as a superpower, not a weakness, because it is a superpower. You look at Damon Jenke. Most people have never heard of him, but he is gaining incredible value from his brand. He is doing great things. There is this bucket list of opportunity for athletes if they can embrace that they are the 99% and approach brand with the understanding that it's going to look a little bit different for them than it does for the 1%. So being part of the 99% is a superpower. It is a great thing. And in this new world of marketing where it's about relatability and embracing normal, they have this extra superpower that they are also extraordinary as well. They're regular people living extraordinary lives. And if they can communicate that through their brand activities, it's going to do great, incredible things for them as well. So I'll leave you with that. If you have any questions, you can start putting them in the chat. And if we don't have any questions, of course, that's totally fine as well. I'll keep an eye on the chat. In the meantime, if you would like to find us online, here's all the details. If we've got any athletes watching, I thought I'd link you to a resource that we have on our website. It's a free resource, it's a download, and it's our storybook resource that we created during COVID, during the pandemic, many moons ago, that feels like now. And that will help you start to unpack what your story is and connect it to the opportunities that are of interest to you. It's a really fun activity and purposeful as well, and will get you to start thinking about what your brand is and the opportunities that you're most interested in. And of course, if you'd ever like to reach out to us, here's our email right here. You can follow us on Instagram, check us out online. I'll leave you with that. I don't think that we have any questions coming through. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I look forward to hopefully seeing all of you online and maybe at another webinar at some point later in the future. Thank you for joining me. And I hope that this webinar has sparked some thoughts for you about how athletes can benefit from their brand and being part of that 99%, because it is, I promise you, it's a superpower. So I'll leave you to the rest of your evening or afternoon or morning or wherever you're joining us from, and look forward to seeing you at some point in the future. Thanks, everyone.